Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new day. It is Saturday afternoon and it actually is almost 4:30. I haven't recorded since breakfast and I didn't even talk at that. I just showed you what we were having. So 4:30 almost now, and we had snow overnight and all through the day, but it's kind of stopped now. But it's kind of melting away pretty quickly though, so that's good. If I sound funny, that's because I got a cold now. So yeah, it has been quite a march for me. I was pretty much in bed all day yesterday, but feeling better today. But so we're gonna make some hand pies. If you remember, just a couple weeks ago, I made some hand pies with the leftover pie crust. But that was bought-in pie crust, and today I'm making pie crust because we don't have any bought-in pie crust, so it's time to make our own. We're going to start off with 1 cup of flour and 1/3 cup of shortening. I'm using like Crisco vegetable shortening. I actually this is like a 3.5 ingredient pie crust. It's flour, shortening, and salt. I probably should have put the salt in before the shortening so I can mix it in with the flour. And water, no specific amount. You're just going to add it as you need it to bring the dough together. So I've done this pie crust, I think one time I showed making it, and the other time I just showed that I made it. So I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now I'm just going to get a fork and kind of cut this shortening in. You want to get it to where you almost have little pea size or smaller pieces in there. So, okay, so I've got the shortening all cut in there. This is basically what it looks like. Okay, that's kind of the texture you want. And now we're just going to add in, I guess you technically can say this is a 4-ingredient pie crust because you are going to use some water. But there's no specific measurement. You just add a little bit at a time until your dough comes together. So you want some cold water, not refrigerator cold, but just cold enough. And you don't want to dump it in all at once. You can start off with a fork if you want, but I'm just going to go with the hands. That way you can really feel the dough come together. Eventually, even if you start with a fork, you'll have to go to your hand. So, hope you're all doing well. Enjoying your weekend so far. Yeah, it's already starting to come together. I'm putting just little drops of water in there. And you want to get it to the point where you can take your dough and just scrape the sides and everything comes off. You don't want it too wet, you don't want it too dry. See, like right now it just breaks up. It's not wet enough. So I have to tell you about that raisin bread. I haven't done any talking vlogs like discussing any answers to questions just because I've had a cold and I've just kind of been in and out. So I haven't talked about anything, but just update on that raisin bread. That raisin bread was really good. Both of us couldn't believe the difference in the texture baking it in the bread machine versus baking it in the oven. Oh, what a difference that was. It actually had a bread texture. So yeah, it was really good. We even had some for breakfast the next morning. Made Glenn some coffee. He had some of that. And actually, we had it with our stew. and we still spread butter on the bread, and it was really good. So yeah, definitely a keeper recipe. This is still kind of breaking apart. I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. And that stew was really good. That chuck roast meat really brought it together. The meat was so tender. So yeah, we we made that stew, and then the next night, we didn't eat the stew the next night, but we ate it last night, and it was really good still. We each had 2 bowls of it last night. It was so good. That was like the best stew we had in a long time. It came out really good this time, and I think the chuck roast really made a difference on that. Alright, the dough looks good. It's not too wet, it's not dry. That last time I put water in it felt a little squishy, but if you just keep kneading it in here, it'll just soak it up. So yeah, right now you can tell it has a wet feel, but not wet where it's sticking to my hands. Look, nothing's on my hands. There's no flour on the walls of the bowl. So it pretty much picked everything up. Alright. Now we're just going to roll this out. And I'm going to actually make lemon hen pies with that lemon filling we got from the pantry. So we're going to have some lemon hen pies. And tonight I'll be making some spaghetti. I'll be making a ground beef with some onions and mushrooms in it, because I know Glenn likes that. And then putting spaghetti sauce in it, and then dumping it over the spaghetti. I'll be using some bread we got from the pantry to make some garlic bread. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get the counter prepared to roll this out and start making some hand pies. Alright everyone, so I am finished rolling these out. I got 6 full-size ones. Again, in diameter, they're about 5.5 inches. And then I got 1 tiny one, which was the leftover dough. So, with that ingredient amount, like I said, it'll give you 6 full ones. But if you want more, just double your ingredient size. So, alright, and here is the pie filling. So, we're just going to take some of this pie filling and eat it. Alright, we're just going to put some in the middle here. Alright, we'll test that amount, because you're going to have to fold it over. And then take a fork. I'm going to move this to the middle a little bit. Just take a fork and pinch your edges together. And then you want to take a knife and just make a couple slits on the top so it doesn't burst open. I usually make 3 of them. And that's it. Alright everyone, so I've got stuff for spaghetti going here. I've got the ground beef. Oops, sorry, just fogged up the camera. Ground beef with onions and mushrooms in there. I've got the water boiling for the spaghetti, and I've got the spaghetti sauce warming up. And once it's all ready, I'll just put it all together in one pot. And I'll show you what I got going over here. Okay, so the hand pies are over here. I haven't iced them yet, so I have to make the icing for that. I'll do that a little bit later on. And then I've got a cookie sheet with tin foil. I forgot to mention we got this in our Thursday food pantry. Every Thursday we actually get a lot of this bread. So I'm going to use it for some garlic bread to go with our spaghetti. So I'm just going to slice some of it, throw some butter on it, and make some garlic bread. All right, so this is the inside of that bread. It's a good size for garlic bread. So I'm just going to throw some butter on here and some garlic powder. All right, everyone, so here's our supper for Saturday night. Got some spaghetti with ground beef, mushrooms, and onions, and just mixed it all together. And got some garlic bread here. The only thing we don't have is Parmesan cheese. So, all right, we're going to enjoy supper. All right, everyone, so it is time to get started with Sunday night supper. For lunch today, we just had leftover spaghetti from last night. So now it's supper time, and we're going to cook these pork chops on the grill. We got these at the pantry on Thursday, and there's 5 of them in there. What we're going to do is grill them, take off the meat, and I'm going to put butter these rolls and put them on the grill to toast them a little bit. And we're just going to take the pork chop meat, put them on the roll for like a pork chop sandwich. So there's 5 here. We're just going to grill out 3 because I'll just have 1. Glenn may have 2. That'll leave us 2 for fresh ones tomorrow, and maybe just throw some hot dogs on the grill with it. So that'll be another complete meal. Along with that, Glenn will put some sliced onions on his sandwich and some horseradish mustard. So that's what we're going to have this Sunday night. So it's been about a week since I actually had a vlog answering a question or talking about something. So like I said, I've been fighting a cold. So yeah, it's been a wonderful March for my health, but you know, it's up and down. So anyway, I wanted to talk about health insurance. A lot of you have urged me to go to the doctor and whatnot. So I just wanted to talk about that. I'm outside grilling, by the way. So the reason I have not gone to the doctor is I simply don't have health insurance. You know, that's just down to the point. I don't have health insurance. Right now I can't afford health insurance. And, you know, I'm hoping as my YouTube channel grows and my income grows that I can find some cheaper insurance. But right now I just can't afford health insurance. Now Glenn has very minimal Medicare, meaning hardly anything will be paid for. So that's why it's important he doesn't get sick. I mean, it's important I don't get sick either. Let me move out of this smoke. Okay, you probably just see the smoke in back of me. So yeah, it's important I don't get sick or end up in the hospital because I simply can't afford it. And the other part is there's no way I could stay in the hospital because no one would be here for Glenn or Gypsy or the kitties. So yeah, that just comes down, you know, to the bottom line is affordability right now, and I can't afford it. When Glenn first started getting Social Security, now Glenn, for those of you that are new or don't know the background, we have been together for 20 years, but we never actually got married. And sometime along the line, it was more for financial reason. And it's a sad situation when people don't get married because it would benefit them financially if you didn't get married. So we haven't gotten married, but we live as we're married. We consider ourselves married. But Glenn, there's been a lot of comments about disability, paid health care, and I probably need to get to a better spot. Okay, you can see the smoke. I don't think it'll blow in my face this time though. So anyway, as Glenn became disabled, so there's been lots of comments about, you know, paid health care and disability, you know, how is Glenn disabled and whatnot. First of all, Glenn, he simply can't walk any distance. He's got arthritis all over his body. His back is riddled with arthritis. His knees are. He's got angina in his heart. He's got, you know, all these health issues. But his disability itself, he simply cannot walk any distance. He has a mobility scooter. He has a wheelchair. He has a walker, a cane. You know, he uses all that. So yeah, when he became disabled, when he was going to the doctor, he ended up getting state health insurance for free. And I did not, because again, we were not married. I was working at the time and making good money, and I had insurance at that time. So Glenn actually never collected disability, like disability SSI or anything like that. I don't know how you want to say that, but we always survived on my paychecks. His health insurance was paid for by the state. And then he reached the age of early retirement, which was 63, I think. I think that's the age. But the minute he started getting that, the state canceled his insurance immediately, because his Social Security, even though he hadn't worked in years, he didn't work in like probably over 10 years at the time, and he still got over, I think, $1,000. Just over $1,000 was his first, when he first applied for Social Security. This is his early retirement. And then as soon as he got that, the state sent him a letter saying your health insurance will be canceled because with your Social Security you make $12 too much. So because of making $12 too much on his early retirement, they just cut it off immediately. Now, mind you, he was on medications. He was on like 7 or 8 different medications, and they cut him off. He could not refill any of them. He was done. No insurance. So, and the smoke's following me again. So anyway, yeah, from then on, he just took the minimal Medicare from his Social Security, because at that time we could not pay any more into it. But yeah, that's the bottom line. Health insurance we don't have. He has the minimal, I have none. But that's why I don't go to the doctor. Simply, I don't. So I am going to search. I am searching for low-cost health insurance. But right now, depending on what the payments are, you know, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, you can't afford to be without health insurance, and you're right, you can't. But what does one do when they don't have the money to pay it out? So, and that's, I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure there are plenty of folks out there that don't have health insurance because it's just not affordable. And, you know, we just survive on what we can and what we have, and that's it. So yeah. But that's the bottom line, is no health insurance. Paid home care. Well, right now, since Glenn doesn't have any doctors, there's nothing we have saying he's disabled. So it's hard for me to get paid home care when we have nothing to say he's disabled. So that's all it comes down to. So I hope that answers your questions or your curiosity as to health insurance, home, you know, paid home care, his disability. So, all right. So I just wanted to quickly go over that. And in my next vlog, I'll talk about other things. So, but I just wanted to fill you in on that, okay? So yeah, on to the weekend of meals. All right, everyone, so this is our supper for this Sunday night. And that's going to do it for this weekend of meals. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking that time out of your day. I appreciate all the support. And with that, remember to live life, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Until next time.